I want to start with a feeling. It's a very specific kind of unease. You know that feeling when you're on a beach and the tide's coming in and you're watching the water, but you're not moving your towel yet because you're thinking, I've got time. It's not moving that fast.
And then you glance at your phone for like 2 minutes, you look up, and your sandals are just floating away.
Exactly. That is the vibe of the last 9 days. Today is Saturday, February 14th, 2026. Happy Valentine's Day, by the way.
Same to you. Though I think our topic today is a bit less romantic and maybe a bit more existential.
Just a bit. We're unpacking a piece that went absolutely viral this week. It's called Something Big is Happening by Matt Shumer. And look, we cover tech shifts all the time on here. We've been talking about AI for years now. But Shumer is arguing that something fundamental broke or maybe fixed itself on February 5th.
Yeah. And just to play Schumer for you, if you don't follow the startup scene, he's an AI founder. He's an investor. He is not an outsider throwing rocks. He's in the lab. And his whole thesis here is that we're all suffering from this massive lag in perception. He compares where we are right now to February 2020.
Which is a heavy comparison to make.
It is. I mean, back then, the data on the virus was there. The experts were screaming, but normal life was just chugging along. Stock market was up. Restaurants were full. And Schumer says we're in that exact same phony war period with AI. The capabilities have already arrived to disrupt everything, but society is just, waiting for the official announcement.
Well, that official announcement might have been February 5th. Let's talk about that date. Because if you weren't glued to your feed last week, you might have missed it.
February 5th was a coincidence, but I mean, a historic one.
Yeah.
You had OpenAI dropping GPT-5.3 Codex. And then on the same afternoon, Anthropic pushes out Opus 4.6. And these were not incremental updates. This wasn't, it runs 10% faster.
Yeah. No. Schumer describes using these new models as a physical sensation. He uses this metaphor of the water rising. He says for the last few years, the water has been at our ankles. We could splash around, maybe get our socks wet, but we were in control.
And after February 5th,
he says the water is at our chests.
And that's the agentic shift. I think we need to be really, really precise about what that word agent means, because it's a buzzword that gets thrown around a lot.
Right. We've heard about agents since, 2023? Oh, it can order a pizza for you, but it never really worked.
It didn't work because the models were brittle. They were tools. Schumer gives this great breakdown of his workflow before last week. He'd say, write a function for this app. The AI writes it. He checks it. It's wrong. He fixes it. He pastes it back in. It was a tennis match.
Back and forth. He was the craftsman. The AI was the hammer.
Exactly. But with Opus 4.6 and Codex 5.3, he changed the prompt. He didn't ask for a function. He said, I want to build this specific app. Here is the user flow. Here's the design aesthetic. Go.
And then he walked away.
For 4 hours. Yeah. And when he came back, the AI hadn't just written the code. It had spun up a virtual environment, compiled the app, and this is the part that I'm still trying to wrap my head around, opened the app and used it.
It became the user.
It became the user.
But how? I mean, how does a language model use an app? It doesn't have eyes. It doesn't have fingers.
This is the breakthrough. It's simulating the interaction.
Mm-hmm.
It's navigating the, the code elements, clicking buttons virtually, and then analyzing the output.
Mm.
And Schumer notes that it didn't just check for bugs in the sense of, did the code crash?
Mm-hmm.
It checked for friction. It realized a button placement felt clunky or a transition was too slow, and it went back into the code, rewrote the CSS, and retested it.
So it's self-correcting based on what it tastes.
That's the word Schumer uses, taste.
See, that sets off my skepticism alarm. Taste is human. It's subjective. How can a matrix of numbers have taste?
I was right there with you. But think about what taste actually is in a design context. It's largely pattern matching against a massive data set of what humans consider good. When you and I see a clunky user interface, we're comparing it to the thousands of good apps we've used. These models have ingested effectively every interface ever built. They know what good looks like mathematically. So when Opus 4.6 decides to move a button 5 pixels to the left, it's not feeling artistic inspiration. It's minimizing the statistical distance between your app and the platonic ideal of a great app.
So it's optimizing for a variable we didn't even know we could quantify.
Precisely. And that it contradicts the biggest safety blanket we've been clutching for the last decade. This idea that AI can do the math, but it can't do the intuition. Schumer is saying that as of last week, that safety blanket is gone.
Okay, so if the water's at our chests, why isn't everyone panicking? Why are we still going to meetings and sending emails like it's business as usual?
Schumer calls this the free tier trap. And frankly, it's the reason most people are going to get completely blindsided.
Because they're cheap.
Because they're using the wrong equipment.
Yeah.
If you are using the free version of ChatGPT or Claude, you are effectively using technology that is, 18 to 24 months old? In AI time, that's the Paleolithic era.
It's the difference between a flip phone and the latest iPhone.
It's bigger than that. It's the
Yeah.
difference between a calculator and a research assistant. Shumer points out that the free models, the ones huge companies are often deploying to their employees because of cost, they hallucinate, they lose context, they can't handle complex logic. So people try them, get a mediocre result, and think, okay, AI is overhyped.
And meanwhile, the person paying the $20 a month for the cutting-edge model is wielding a superpower.
They're living in a completely different reality. There is a bifurcation of the workforce happening right now, invisible to the naked eye. It's between the people using 2024 tech and the people using February 2026 tech.
Let's look at the trajectory, because Shumer brings up some data from METR, that's the nonprofit that benchmarks these things. I know we usually skip the history lesson, but the acceleration here is just, it's wild.
The acceleration is vertical. METR tracks how long it takes an AI to complete a complex task compared to a human expert. In early 2025, the best models could do a task that took a human about, say, 10 minutes.
Okay, so writing a short email or summarizing a PDF.
Right. Useful, but not world-ending.
Hmm?
By November 2025, so just a few months ago, that benchmark jumped. The AI was successfully completing tasks that took a human expert 5 hours.
5 hours of continuous expert-level work.
Yes. And Shumer notes that this capability is doubling roughly every 4 to 6 months. So do the math. If we're at 5 hours in late 2025 and we just had this massive jump in February 2026, we are likely approaching the point where AI can autonomously handle tasks that take a human a week or a month.
A week-long project. Hey, AI, audit our entire supply chain for Q3 and draft the report. And it just does it.
That is what agentic means. It breaks the project down, schedules the subtasks, executes them, checks its own work, and delivers the final product.
But this leads to the technical heart of Shumer's article, and I want to spend some time here because it's a bit mind-bending. The feedback loop.
This is the intelligence explosion.
The release notes for GPT-5.3 Codex explicitly stated, and I'm quoting here, this model was instrumental in creating itself.
Yeah. That's the sentence that kept me up at night.
What does that actually mean, creating itself? It's not building servers in a factory.
No. It's about the software and the data. See, the biggest bottleneck in training these huge models used to be getting high-quality data. We, ran out of the internet. We read all the books, all the websites.
So where do they get more data?
The AI makes it.
Yeah.
GPT-5.3 Codex was used to generate synthetic data. Billions of examples of perfect code, perfect logic puzzles, perfect translations, which were then used to train the next version of the model. It also wrote the unit tests to grade itself.
So the teacher and the student are the same system.
And the teacher is getting smarter every single hour. Think of it like compound interest. For 50 years, AI progress was linear, like saving cash under your mattress. You put effort in, you get a little progress out. Now, the interest is compounding hourly. The principle, the AI's intelligence, is generating its own returns in the form of better code and better data, which immediately gets reinvested to make the intelligence higher.
And humans are just watching the bank account grow.
Humans are becoming the bottleneck. Dario Amodei, the CEO of Anthropic, has talked about this. Once the AI is better at AI research than we are, the timeline collapses. We might be looking at 100 years of progress in 2 years.
Which sounds great if you're a futurist, but terrifying if you're an accountant. Let's talk about the white-collar shift. Because Shumer doesn't pull any punches here. He cites a prediction that AI could eliminate 50% of entry-level white-collar jobs.
Within 1 to 5 years. And after seeing the February 5th releases, Shumer bets on the 1-year side of that spectrum.
50% of entry-level jobs, that's an entire generation of graduates.
It is. And we need to dismantle a very specific fallacy here. People love to compare this to the Industrial Revolution. Oh, the looms replaced weavers, but they became managers.
Right. Technology creates more jobs than it destroys. That's the standard Econ 101 take.
But that logic relies on something called comparative advantage. When machines got strong, humans moved to cognitive tasks. We moved from muscles to brains. But Shumer asks, where do you move when the machine is faster, smarter, and cheaper at the cognitive tasks too?
There's no up to move to.
Exactly. There is no convenient safety gap. If you're a junior lawyer, your job is summarizing case law and drafting contracts. Opus 4.6 does that instantly. If you're a junior coder, your job is writing boilerplate functions. Codex does that instantly.
But what about the human element? I feel like everyone I talk to eventually retreats to this fortress. They say, well, I'm a people person, clients need to feel heard, and AI can't have empathy.
Shumer calls that the empathy fallacy. And it's dangerous because it creates a false sense of security. First of all, are we sure AI can't simulate empathy better than a tired, overworked human?
Ouch.
But more importantly, look at the behavior. People are already using these models as therapists. They're confessing their secrets to them. They feel more heard by the AI because the AI is patient. It remembers every detail of previous conversations, and it never, ever judges.
So if your job is sitting at a screen and typing, you are in the blast radius.
If your value proposition is purely cognitive processing, yes. The idea that human connection will save millions of jobs. That might just be wishful thinking.
Okay, that's the doom and gloom. The water is at the chest. But Schumer wrote this article to be a wake-up call, not a eulogy. He has a playbook.
Right. And I love this section because it's so practical. It's not go build a bunker. It's how do you survive Monday morning?
Rule number 1 we already touched on. Pay the $20.
Non-negotiable. If you want to understand the future, you have to subscribe to it. Get GPT 5.3 or Opus. Do not use the free tier. You need to see the smartphone, not the flip phone.
Rule number 2 is the one I started doing this week, and it's really hard, the 1-hour challenge.
This is brilliant. The advice is spend 1 hour a day strictly experimenting. But, and this is the key, do not use it as Google.
Right. Don't ask it, what's the capital of France?
No. Give it impossible work. Schumer suggests finding the task you're dreading because it's too complex or too messy.
Can you give me a concrete example? Because messy is kind of vague.
Sure. Okay, let's say you have a 50-page vendor contract on your desk. Usually you'd skim it, maybe send it to legal, wait 3 days. Instead, upload the PDF to Opus 4.6 and say, I am the buyer. Review this entire document. Highlight every clause that exposes me to liability regarding data breaches. Compare those clauses to standard GDPR compliance, and then rewrite them to be favorable to me.
That's a task that would take a junior associate 4 hours.
And the AI will do it in about 45 seconds. And it will probably catch things the human would miss because it doesn't get tired on page 30.
And Schumer's point is that even if it fails, even if it hallucinates, you need to learn how it failed.
Exactly. You're building the muscle. You're learning how to prompt, how to verify, how to integrate this thing into your workflow. Because right now, there is an early advantage.
The window of opportunity.
It's a brief window. Right now, if you walk into a strategy meeting and you've done a comprehensive market analysis using AI that would have taken a team of 3 people a week,
Yeah.
and you did it in your pajamas in an hour, you are a wizard. You're the most valuable person in that room.
But in 2 years.
In 2 years, that's just the baseline. That's just doing your job. So you have to capitalize on this arbitrage moment, like right now.
I want to pivot to the last part of his advice, which this is what hit me the hardest. The parenting advice. You know, I've got kids. And the old roadmap, get good grades, get into a good college, get a stable corporate job. That feels risky now.
It feels like training them for a world that doesn't exist anymore. Schumer's advice is to shift the focus entirely. Don't optimize your kids for being employees. Optimize them for being builders.
Builders and learners.
Yeah, think about it. The barrier to creation has completely collapsed. 2 years ago, if your kid had an idea for a video game, they needed to learn C# or Unity. It was a huge hurdle. Today, they can tell the AI, make a game where a cat flies a spaceship, and the AI writes the code.
So the skill isn't coding, the skill is curiosity.
It's taste, it's curiosity, and it's resilience. It's the ability to direct the intelligence. If your kid loves dinosaurs, they shouldn't just read about them. They should build the ultimate dinosaur encyclopedia app using AI. They should be the director, not the cog.
That's a hopeful spin. It flips the script from AI is taking our jobs to AI is giving us superpowers.
That's the duality of this moment. It's terrifying for the employee, but it is absolutely exhilarating for the creator.
Before we wrap up, I want to leave everyone with a thought experiment that Schumer quotes from Dario Amodei. It's a visualization that really helps frame the scale of what we're talking about here.
Yeah, this one stuck with me. Imagine a new country appears on the map overnight. It has 50 million citizens.
Okay, 50 million people.
But every single one of them is smarter than a Nobel Prize winner. They have perfect memory. They think 100 times faster than us, and they never sleep.
And they all connected to the internet.
Right. Now, what happens to the global economy? What happens to science?
Well, if those 50 million geniuses work on medicine,
Exactly. Shumer talks about compressing 100 years of biology research into 5 or 10 years, curing Alzheimer's,
Yeah.
solving protein folding, extending human lifespan. It's all on the table. That's the utopia,
And the other side of that coin.
the national security threat. If those 50 million geniuses decide to build a cyber weapon or a biological agent or just manipulate the stock market,
Yeah.
we can't really stop them. We can't outthink them.
And we're living while the coin is in the air.
We are. And that brings us right back to the water is rising metaphor.
It's not coming soon. It's not in the future.
It arrived last week. The water is here. You can stand there and argue with the ocean, or you can learn to swim.
And swimming means pay the $20, do the impossible work, and teach your kids to build.
That's the only way to stay afloat.
That's it for this deep dive. Go check out Matt Shumer's full article if you want the full download. And seriously, try the 1-hour challenge this weekend. See what happens.
We don't ask it about the weather.
Deal. Thanks for listening, everyone.
See you next time.